Kia ora and talofa geniuses. I'm just sitting out here with the birds and the sunset is going down, which is really lovely. And I just felt called to share something with you, and I wanted to record this for you now. Before I get into the information, I just want to be straight with you from the jump. Number one, I'm not a doctor, and number two, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't have any of those letters after my name, and I'm not here to impress anybody. I am just a simple Māori, Samoan, Chinese woman from Aotearoa, New Zealand. I live in Brisbane, Queensland now, who's just lived through some of the most painful, confusing, isolating experiences a person can go through. And I'm still here, like I'm still standing or sitting in a beautiful environment right now. I'm still talking, and that's exactly why I made this video, because I know that there are some women out there who know exactly what I'm feeling, and you would be feeling like you're exhausted or you're confused. You might be asking yourself, why do I feel so drained all the time? Why is there, always a problem going on? Why do I feel guilty for things that, I haven't even done? You might feel like you might be going crazy. And I wanted to record this video to let you know that you are not crazy, you're not too sensitive, and you're not the problem. In fact, some of you might just be experiencing manipulation, and you might not even know it, because that's exactly how it works. So today I wanted to record this video and talk about something that's deeply personal to me, and I'm going to back it up with some real research, because I know that what I'm saying isn't just my opinion, it's not just my story. The science backs this up too, and I want to share that with you. So let's get into it. So let me just tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from, because context matters, and it matters that you know who it is that's talking to you. I have experienced physical domestic violence. I've been strangled, and in Queensland, Australia, where I live, strangulation is a federal offence. It's not a small thing, and it's not something that you can just get over. In fact, it's one of the most terrifying things that a human can actually experience, and I survived it. But here's the thing that took me a long time to understand. The physical stuff, as horrific as it was actually easier to name, because you can see the bruise, you can point to it, and you can say that happened to me. What was harder for me to name was everything else, like the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, financial abuse, spiritual abuse, the way my soul started to slowly chip away by people who were supposed to love me. And I'm not just talking about a partner or a mother, a father, a fiancé, a husband. Like, the people that are closest to me, they're the people that I trusted the most, the people I loved the hardest. And for a long time, I thought it was me. I thought I was genuinely the problem. I thought that I was too much, too emotional, too needy, too loud, too sensitive, too broken, whatever, too much of whatever it is that they would say. And that right there, like that thought, is exactly what manipulation does to you. It makes you turn on yourself. It makes you start to doubt your own reality, and it makes you focus on fixing yourself, that like you never stop to look at actually what's been done to you. So let's talk about a bit of the research, because this is where things get real. There is a TED Talk by a woman named Van Nguyen Pheng, and she talks about the 4 signs of emotional abuse. And one of those things that she talks about is how subtle it is, like how it doesn't always look like what we think abuse look like. It can hide behind love or concern, it can hide behind jokes and guilt, and it can definitely hide behind silence. And that really hit me hard when I first heard it, because I kept thinking, if it doesn't look like abuse, how are you supposed to know? Like, how are you supposed to protect yourself from something that you can't even see clearly? Do you know what I mean? And the answer is that you learn the signs. You educate yourself, and you start to really trust your gut again, because Your gut has been trying to tell you something for a long time, and you just kind of got taught to ignore it. And the four signs that she talks about are things like being made to feel like you're always overreacting, or being isolated from people that who love you, and having your reality just like constantly questioned. Like you're being made to feel responsible for somebody else's emotions all the time. Do you know what I mean? Does that sound familiar? Because it did to me. Yeah, every single one of these things happened to me, and I didn't have a name for it for years. So I also want to share with you another piece of research, because this one really got to me. In 2026, a meta-analytic review was published. That means that they look across 16 different studies, like 16, with nearly 11,000 people involved. And what they found was that manipulation is close in relationships, and it's constantly linked to like lower relationship quality across the board, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of what type of relationship it is as well. And that last part, I want you to sit with it for a second. Regardless of what type of relationship it was, because we tend to think of like manipulation as a romantic relationship problem, and we think of a toxic boyfriend or a controlling husband, and yes, absolutely, that is real and that is valid. But this research is also telling us that manipulation shows up in friendships, in family relationships, in workplaces, in any close relationship where the person wants to stay in control. Okay, and that means the woman who is being manipulated by her mother, that's real. The woman who is being controlled by her father, that's real. The woman who's been drained and confused every time she leaves a certain friendship, like, that's real. Like, too, all of those things are real. It's not just romantic relationships, even though there are too. It is any relationship where someone is using tactics to keep you small, like to keep you confused, to keep you dependent, to keep you doubting yourself. And the research says 11,000 people. Like, this is not rare. Like, this is not a niche problem. This is something that is happening to people everywhere, every day, like in any kind of relationship. So I also want to talk about what it actually looks like in real life, not just in a textbook as well, in real life, like in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your family group chat, in your workplace, in your friendships, because it doesn't always look like someone screaming at you. Sometimes it looks like really nice in front of you, like straight after they hurt you, and you think, oh, maybe I just overreacted, or maybe they do love me, maybe it wasn't that bad. It's like, no, that's manipulation. Like, sometimes it looks like someone making you feel guilty for having needs, like you're too much, wanting to be treated with basic respect, like you should be grateful for whatever scraps of love that you're getting at that point in time. But no, that is manipulation. And sometimes it looks like people twisting your words, like over and over again. You might say one thing, and then somehow by the end of the conversation you're the one apologizing for something that you didn't even do. Like, you don't even know how you got there. You just know, like, that you feel terrible and something's your fault again. That is manipulation. Okay, sometimes it looks like someone using your past against you, your trauma, your insecurities. It looks like when people bring up details about people who have abused you or hurt you in the past, like the things you told them you're in your most vulnerable moments, like they'll use these things as weapons when they want to win an argument just to keep you in line. That's manipulation. Okay, sometimes it looks like someone slowly cutting you off from friends and families, not all at once, just gradually, like a comment here, a guilt trip there, until one day you look around and realize You're fucking isolated. And the only person you have left is the person who isolated you. That is manipulation. And sometimes and this is a hard one, sometimes it just looks like love. It looks like someone who says that they love you more than anyone ever could. Someone says they're the only one who really understands you. That sometimes they'll say they're doing all of this because they care about you so much. And you believe them because you want to be loved and because you deserve to be loved, because every human being on this planet deserves to be loved. And manipulation knows that. It uses that against you, you know. And I also want to talk to you about something that doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. And that's the spiritual soul level damage that it actually does, that manipulation does, because it's not just your mind that gets affected, it's your emotions, your sense of self, your identity, your connection, and who you actually are. So when you've been manipulated long enough, especially when people who were supposed to be safe around you, you really start to lose yourself. You start to forget what you actually think. You start to forget what you actually feel, what you actually want, because you spend so long managing someone else's emotions, walking on eggshells, trying to keep the peace, trying to be enough, that you've completely disconnected from yourself. And that disconnection, that deepest wound, that's the one that takes the longest to heal. Because you can leave a relationship, you can leave cities, you can change your number, but you still have to figure out who you are again. You still have to learn to trust yourself again, and you still have to rebuild the relationship that you have with your own instincts, with your own voice, with your own truth. And that's the work, that's the real work, and it's hard and it's worth it. Now I want to speak to the mothers directly, just for a second, because I know some of you are watching this and you're not just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your children. You're thinking about what they're seeing, what they're absorbing, what they're learning about love and relationships from watching what's happening in your home. And I want to say this gently but clearly. Your children are watching and they are learning. And the most powerful thing that you can do for them is to start taking your own healing seriously. Not because you're a bad mother, but because you are a good one. Because you love them enough to want better for them. And that's the best way to give them better. To model it. You cannot pour from an empty cup, mama. You cannot teach your children what healthy love looks like if you've never been showing it yourself. And this isn't about blame. This isn't about breaking your heart or your feelings. This is about breaking the cycle. And that starts with you being honest about yourself, about what's really happening in your life. Now I want to talk about what comes after, because I don't want to leave you in the hard part. I want to talk about what's possible on the other side, because I'm living proof of that you can survive this. I've been strangled, I've been financially controlled, I've been emotionally destroyed by people who were supposed to have loved me the most, and I'm still here, building, creating, and showing up. It doesn't happen overnight, and we all know that healing isn't linear. Some days I still feel the weight of everything that happened, and some days some things trigger me and I'm right back in that moment. And that's okay. That's human, because that's what trauma does. But the difference is what I know and what I can name and what I can see. And I can say that that's a trauma response. I can say that that's not my reality right now. And we call that awareness. And that is everything. And that is the beginning of freedom. So what do you actually do if you're recognizing yourself in any of this? First, just trust yourself. I know that sounds simple, and I know that after years of being told your feelings are wrong and your perception is off and you're too sensitive, trusting yourself feels almost impossible, but just start small. Start with just noticing. When something feels off, notice it. Don't explain it away immediately, just notice it. Second, educate yourself, Watch videos like this one, read about manipulation tactics and anything else that you're going through, and learn the language. Get that knowledge, because once you have the language for something, it loses its power over you. And you can start to see what it is instead of feeling confused and drained all the time. And whether that's talking to somebody, a therapist, a support group, like a trusted friend, or an online community, you can find someone that you believe in, because isolation is one of those tools of manipulation too. So make sure that you connect with someone who has those tools of healing. And I think one last thing is just really be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. You did not get here overnight, and you are not going to heal overnight, and that's okay. You're allowed to take your time. You're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to still figure it out. That does not mean you're not healing. That means you're human. Alright? Know that you're not alone. There are 11,000 people in one study alone who have experienced what you're experiencing. And there are women all over the world right now who are sitting with the same confusion, the same exhaustion, the same quiet grief of realizing that someone that they loved was not safe. And you're not alone in this. Not even close. So let me close with this, as the sun has pretty much closed on this day. I made this video because I know what it feels like to not have anyone who gets it. And to feel like you're going crazy, and to feel like you're too much and not enough at the same time. To feel like love is supposed to hurt this much, but it's not. Love is not supposed to hurt like this. Love is not supposed to leave you drained and confused and small. Real love, healthy love, makes you feel safe. It makes you feel seen. It makes you feel like you can breathe. And you deserve that. You deserve to breathe. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a simple Māori, Samoan, Chinese woman, mama from Aotearoa, New Zealand, who has been through some things and has come out the other side. And I've got a whole lot of truth to share. So even if one person watches this and feels like they're less alone, then we know that this was worth it. So take care of yourself, trust yourself, and know that healing is possible, because I'm living proof. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Love you. Bye.